Hello everybody, thanks for joining me today. In today's video, we are going to set up the Light Gun games for Hypseus Singe 2. Sorry, I can't get that name out every time, it's a lot to say. The ones we'll be focusing today on is going to be all the two-player games, as well as the two that's not two players. As of the making of this, by the time you watch this, the two that's not two players, which is Platoon and Mad Dog, those may be two players as well. So just grab those files if those become available at that time. We're going to focus on that, and we're going to be using the zipped method because that is the most updated method right now to use, especially when it comes to the files. And I want to explain all of that when we get there. First, of course, you're going to need to have your ROM files, and I will explain to you how to get that after we update our Hypseus Singe data folder. I don't want to take up much more of your time, but just a quick note, do watch the first video of the series, which is Hypseus Singe setup with the Dragon's Lair, and you'll know the video because you'll see the Dragon's Lair thumbnail with that. Also, this will be in a playlist, so it's going to be the very first video in a playlist. We have done Action Max, so you can do that if you want to. It is not mandatory to do this. However, if you want Action Max games, that's a great guide to watch for that. Okay, with those disclaimers out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first let's go ahead and get our updated Hypseus Singe data file. Let's go to the GitHub page, Dirtbag Zong. Appreciates, thanks to him. Go to the data folder right down here. And we're going to go and grab the zip ROMs folder. Okay, now since this is the only one that I am worried about, we're just going to click on this link here. We're going to highlight that, copy it, and we're going to use our GitHub downloader that we used in the first video. This is a great way to download anything off of GitHub that does not have a direct link. But just go ahead and right click, paste, hit enter, and then we just wait. It's not going to take very long. You're going to see a completed download right up here. So I'm going to open up the zip. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. Now, a lot of these files, as the making of this video, has been updated within the last 3 days. The most recent updates has been Who Shot Johnny Rock. That is now multiplayable. Now, a quick note on these as well, just because they're multiplayers, that doesn't mean that's the only improvement. A lot of improvements have came with the Who Shot Johnny Rock, a better hitbox detection, the video runs a lot smoother, and there's a plethora of other improvements. So thanks to Luther Gaunt and Widge for all of this. But now that we have this, what do we do with this? So we need to update our current data folder that we have in our build. So we're going to go back to the build that we worked on over the last 2 videos. Here is mine. I haven't done anything more than what I've already shown. Let's see here, my ROMs folder, everything's the same as you left it. You look at my Singe, everything here is the same, so I'm at the same level everybody else is. Okay, so this is our data folder right here. We're just going to update this. Go ahead and click on that. Go to your zip ROMs, and these are out of date in comparison to this right here, so we're just going to grab all of these, and we're going to drop them. All right, we want to replace each file and destination. All right, and we're good to go. Okay, next step, I like to go ahead and get our foundation made right now for this so we don't have to worry about it later. So we're going to grab the files that you need for this, and these will be the games as far as the multiplayer side that we're going to be covering. So we're going to grab Crime Patrol, Drug Wars. Actually, let's go a different route with this. All right, so let's go ahead and go back a folder, back a couple of folders, and we're going to open up the Singe folder. All right, open that one up. Got this one here, and let's go to our data folder again. Open up the zip, and then we'll just go game at a time. I want to do a couple here for examples, and then you can go through the rest. But these will be the games that we are doing. I'll highlight those, so do take notes of it. Crime Patrol, Drug Wars, Fast Draw, Gallagher's Gallery, Last Bounty Hunter, Mad Dog, Marbella Vice, Space Pirates, So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And who shot Johnny Rock? So you should have 9 highlighted here, or at least make notes. And now we're going to just open them one at a time. So I'm going to start with Crime Patrol. Open up the Singe folder. Now create a folder, and we want to call this one Crime Patrol. Now, very important, you see the text file right here. It's going to be for all of it. Make sure your name matches what it says before the text. That will just make it a lot easier for a batch file to launch it, so you don't have to do as much modifications. If you do it just as it is, as it says right before the TXE, then we really shouldn't have to mess with the batch file much to really get it going. All right, so open this up. We're just going to drag and drop all these. All right, and that's really it. Then we're just going to repeat the pattern. We can actually just go up here if you're using 7-zip, and then as I can see, I have all my files already right here ready. So you can go back in your folder, grab if you want, or you can just hit up on your 7-zip, that's what you're using, and go on to the next one. So we have Drug Wars right here. Open that up. The folder I'm going to create is going to say Drug Wars -HD, all lowercase. Make sure you have your capitalization the way this says. Got that folder made, open it. I'm just going to drag and drop all these. All right, I want to do one more for example purposes, and then I want to come back after I completed all these myself. Now we got fast draw here. Folder. All right, and just fast draw, plain and simple. All right, and after I get the rest of them done, I'll be back. I expect you also to do the same. Okay, so when you're done, you should have these folders here: Crime Patrol -HD, Drug Wars -HD, Fast Draw, Gallagher, LBH -HD, Mad Dog HD, Marbella Vice, Space Pirates HD, and the latest one, WSJR -HD. Then, of course, open it up, and they should just look like this. You should have a text file, zip file, Space Pirates. You want to have your video files here. Now, these video files are just extra. They're not the actual game video files. It's just what else they've added on to here. Okay, next we're going to need to do is go into these folders, and we're going to need to cut out this zip file, and we're going to move the zip over to the ROMs folder. So I just want to go this one right here, back it out, back up. We're at the base of our Hypseus Singe and go to ROMs, and then we're just going to place all those zip files into here. So go back to the Singe folder. We want to start with Crime Patrol. Grab this zip file, cut it, come to ROMs, paste it, go back up, go to Drug Wars HD, grab it, cut it, come here and paste it. They're just going to repeat this process for the rest of the games. I'll do one more for example purposes, and then I'll be back. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to have all your zip files that you pulled out from the folder of all these right here. Crime Patrol was pulled out. Now you can just copy and paste it if you want to. To me, that's just not as clean, but it's not going to affect anything. All right, so that's how your files should look now. Your folders and your ROM should have all the zip files from those games into here. All right, next we need to pull out our batch files for the game. So go to the batch ref folder that we created in the first video. Open this up. And then just scroll all the way down to where you see the Singe. And grab all the ones that we're going to do. And we're going to want the ones that says HD zip ROM at the end. So Crime Patrol HD zip ROM. Drug Wars HD zip ROM, Fast Draw zip ROM, Gallagher's zip ROM, Johnny Rock, we're at the HD. This does not have a zip ROM, so I'll show you how to adjust that so it will work for our needs. I believe you got to do that with Marbella Vice 6. I don't believe Marbella Vice has a pre-made batch file, and we'll create one for that as well. Let's see. Okay, you can go ahead and grab Mad Dog 2 if you want. I want to grab it whenever we start doing that process. And same for Platoon. I'll grab that whenever we get started on the Platoon process. Space Pirates HD zip ROM. Just make sure it says zip ROM or zipped in it for all the ones at least possible that can say that. All right, got that. And I don't think we even have a Johnny Rock on here. Yeah, we already got it. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we only have 8 right here because we still got to create one for Marbella Vice. Let's go ahead and copy those. Come back to your batch, and we're just going to paste them in. So they'll all be right here with the Singe name to keep them sorted out. Okay, so for right now, if we try to start the zip ROM as is, even though we have everything in all the spots they need to be, it's not going to launch because we're still missing the game files themselves. So that's where we're going to start our next step at. Yep, so not launching. So what we want to do, we got to get the actual game itself so we can get the videos out of those and put them with our build. Okay, now I can't tell you exactly where to get it specifically, but of course, archive.org is highly suggested here. The search terms you would use Singe 2-player with the number 2, and that would work. For me, I find it just straight on Google. I Google it, I hit archive, 2 players, and Singe. And it's one of the first 2 games. Just click on it. You'll see the creator name called Luther Gond. You'll click on his name on the hyperlink, and it's going to show you all the available multiplayer games that we can use. So I would go that route. And as of this recording right now, there is 9 games that should pop up. So get all 9. If they go forward and do Mad Dog 2 and Platoon, then that would make it 11. So by the time some of y'all watch this, it may be up to that point. But as of right now, we're at 9, so get all 9 of those games. You know, you can just do it through the zip file method. I'll go get those games myself, and then I'll come back and we'll continue to process from there. All right, so when you're done, you should have 9 games downloaded here, and we're just going to use the video files from that, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, I'm going to open up our Hypseus Singe emulator folder. We're going to go to the Singe folder down here. And we're just going to toss our videos in each of our Singe files. Okay, I want to start with the Crime Patrol. Then I'm just going over here to my Crime Patrol download folder. I have my zip. Just going to open that up. Open this up. The only ones that we're going to grab here is the OGG and the M2V. We're not doing the extras because we have those right here. Anything that you find straight off the GitHub site is going to be the most updated versions. So all we need is these 2 right here. I'm going to drag and drop these here. Okay, and it may take about a minute or 2 for everything to be dragged and dropped to your folder, depending on where you have these files at. All right, so now the folders in here should be your Crime Patrol, your Crime Patrol Extras, Crime Patrol HD text, and the README text. Okay, now next I want to do Drug Patrol. or Drug Wars. All right, same thing through here. We're going to open up the Drug Wars HD. I'm just going to grab the OGG and the M2V. I'm not going to mess with anything else. Drag and drop them in here. All right, so your Drug Wars folder should look like this. Now let's go ahead and test out these two games, make sure they launch. Previously, we couldn't get these launched, we didn't have those files in. So now let's see if we have better success here. Have it loading up. Now, once you see the parsings, about 99% of the time we're good. So let's just continue to see what happens. We're going to let the video parse out. All right, everything looks good here. And here is where you pick your guns. So if you want to do 2 players, you can just shoot with guns of 1 and 2. Hit the start button. Pick your gun. Hit start number 2. And then you can pick with your second gun what you want to do there. All right, let's go ahead and test out one more. Drug Wars, since we've done that one. All right, and everything looks good now. All right, we've got the Drug Wars game going on. Going to hit 1 for my player 1, hit my mouse, and I'm just going to start solo since I don't have my gun set up yet. Hit 1 again. You can see our creators on this, so give them big thanks. RDG, Huoy, I'm sure I said that wrong. Karis, of course, Wedge, and Luther Gone. So I'm mousing around, I'm pointing and shooting. Everything's fine. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of them. Go back to my Singe folder. I'm going to do fast draw next. Open a fast draw from your download. Get the M2V, the OGG. I just want to drag and drop them in. All right, I want to go ahead and do the rest of them, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. If there's any special note, I'll stop and make note of that for you. Okay, so coming back for a moment here. So Marbella Vice actually going to have something a little different. So I just want to make sure to clear on that. So open up the Marbella Vice Singe folder. And then our downloads for Marbella Vice, open that up, open up the zip right here. And we actually have 3 files here. So you'll want the OGG, the Marbella Vice-ESOG, and the M2V. I don't know what the ESOG is, but I'm sure it's something we'll probably need, so better safe than sorry on that. Okay, so now once you're done with all that, you can go ahead and test these batches for the rest of the games. Now, I've already tested on my end. All of these will work off the gate except for one game, and that is Johnny Rock. So we'll need to change the name of Johnny Rock to fit what we need to launch the game. Okay, so first I just want to change the name of this batch right here. I'm just going to go the lazy route. I'm just going to copy this name here. Go over here. I'm going to right click on this. I'm just going to make this name in uniform with the rest of the batches. So I'm just going to go Singe. Right click, paste. Want to go under and just do zip ROM, as that's how the rest of mine are. Okay, so now we need to go inside the actual file itself, right click and edit. And we're going to edit out anything that says Johnny Rock in here. Again, I can just go ahead, highlight it and paste. Highlight and paste. All right, and then highlight and paste again over here. We're going to do another change right here where it says script. We're going to change that to Zlua. Back here on the Singe, we're going to change that to .zip. So from .singe is going to be .zip. Okay, so going back on the Johnny Rock Singe batch file, some changes have to be made. I'll explain that to you. So, of course, I named the batch file itself to wsjr-hd_zip-rom. Edit. Okay, and do make sure your ROM looks like this, or your batch file does. The frame file at Singe, and a change here would be let's remove the Johnny Rock and change to wsjr-hd /SS jr-hd.text space. That's going to be changed to Zlua space, and then it's going to be changed to ROMs /wsjr-hd.zip. So let me highlight this. So this is how your batch file is going to look, and make sure it's two dots in the front. Then you can start the game and it will boot up. Now, the one that we do not have the pre-made batch for is Marbella, so let's go ahead and set that one up. And you can really just copy any of these. I'm just going to copy the crime patrol one. Copy it. I want to paste it. I want to rename it to Marbella because that matches the folder that it's in. Or correction, it's Marbella Vice. So I'm going to change it to Marbella Vice. Come in here, right click it, edit out, and then I'm just going to rename anything that says Crime Patrol HD to Marbella Vice, or whatever one that you're redoing. Marbella Vice. Just to speed things up a little quicker, I'm just going to highlight and copy this. Okay, so of course your files look like this: Hypseus Singe, VDLP, printing file with the dash, Singe, Marbella Vice text, Zlua, ROMs, Marbella zip. Go ahead and save it. Go ahead and start it up. And of course it's not working, so I'll review that. Okay, of course it was an easy fix. Do spell proof yourself. Originally I had this as Marb Vive, so instead of Marb Vice. So 99% of the time, if you're having issues with your bat file not working, it's usually because of just a spelling or grammar error. Just double check that and you'll be great. All right, so now we confirm that all these are working. Let's go ahead and grab the other two games that are single player and requires a different method of setting up, and that's going to be Mad Dog 2 and Platoon. Again, best way to find them is archive.org and just look up Mad Dog 2, grab that file, look up archive.org Platoon, grab that file, load it, and we'll be good. While those are downloading, we can go ahead and get the folder structure set up for these games. So by the time they're done downloading, all we should have to do is just drag and drop the video files. Go into the batch reference, and we're going to grab the two batch files that we need for this. We're going to grab MagDog2H2 Mini Mouse, and then we're going to grab the Platoon one, Platoon Mini Mouse. Now, even though these will say Mini Mouse, that does not mean they're two players. It just means they're capable of using your light gun along with the regular mouse. Paste these into your batch. All right, next we're going to go to our data folder. We're going to go to the Singe 2 Port Gun Games. We're going to grab Space Pirates, and we're going to grab MagDog 2 HD. Go ahead and copy those. Okay, come to our Singe folder, and then we're just going to paste these into here. Okay, so we have our folders in here now, and we can go ahead and take a look through them. You have all our files here. We have our WAV files, we have our sound files, we have the Singe files. Everything's here except our video files, and that's all we're going to use what we're downloading for. We're just going to, just like we previously done, we're just going to hijack those videos, toss them into here, and we should be good to go. Okay, so my platoon has finished, so let's go ahead and do the platoon one. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open up my platoon zip file from its download. We'll see the platoon, and we're just going to go to all these files here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all these and drop them. However, it's going to ask you if you want to overwrite anything. Do not overwrite anything. This will just fill in the gaps of anything that we might need that this is not carrying. Just want to do that. It's going to ask if you want to override, and I'm just going to say no. And it's going to replace anything that we have that we don't need. Replace files as destination, and we're just going to skip these files. And I believe the only thing it's going to add that we don't have is going to be the video file. Okay, so now once we're good, we see our video files are right here, the OGG and the M2V. All right, let's do a quick test here. Go to my batch, go to my Singe platoon at Mini Mouse. Looking good so far. All right, and we have platoon going. And we're just going to repeat this process for Mad Dog 2 as well, which that one should be ready on my end. So let's go ahead and check on that. Okay, and once you get all that done, test it out. You've pretty much completed setting up Hypseus Singe. Let's go ahead and do a test on Mad Dog 2. We haven't done Mad Dog 2 yet. All right, just like Platoon, I'm going to open this up. Open that up, and we're just going to hide all this and drop it into our Mad Dog 2 folder here in the Singe. And we're not going to overwrite anything. We're just going to fill in any gaps that are missing with these files. Okay, we'll be asked this question. We're going to skip these files. If you don't see anything new, just go ahead and refresh your folder here. Sometimes on Windows 11 it does that for me. I see it. Then you'll see your OGG and your M2V, which is the two files that are really needed from all that. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our batch and test these out. Okay, let's go ahead and boot up Platoon. I've already tested this out, so you're not going to see the parsing, but you should see the parsing. I got the flag, so we're good here. Escape out of that. And then we want to do MagDog 2. Okay, so we're parsing and we're good. Now, remember, Platoon and MagDog 2 is only one-player games as of the making of this video. If it does change, I'll do an update on that. I'm not going to fully go over the bezels. I'll do a couple of examples for you. If you want more details, do watch the Action Max video, which is number 2 in the playlist for this. I go into a lot of detail on the bezels and a lot of other command arguments that you can do for these games. Okay, so we're good here. I'm just going to escape out of here. But there is one more thing I want to point out, and we want to go down here to Crime Patrol. I've already edited this file out. So go to Edit Notepad. I'll use the Crime Patrol PNG I found, and I will show you where I found that inside our already pre-existing bezels folder. But this is key right here is X ratio 133. This will allow your gun to shoot in 16:9 mode with the bezels without having to change your gun settings. So this is going to be straight flush. As far as sending goes, you can use the outside border on this and still have 1-to-1 accuracy with the X ratio 1.113. So we do note that, have that dash added in front of it. Now, for sending especially, this will allow for a much more cleaner border because we can add the outside bezels. Now, we could not do this with Action Max just because the videos aren't a true 4x3, so the aim was still running off by a hair to the left. But I've tested with this, and it is 1-to-1 pinpoint where you're pointing at. And we have the outside bezels, so we'll have a much cleaner looking bezel as well for the sit-in users. Now, how I found that bezel, we're just going to go back to the root of our Singe. Go to bezels. It's going to be in the Singe folder here. Find the game you're looking for, which for me it was Crime Patrol. You can look in the 1920 or the 4K. They both fill out the same. If you're not running Sendin, you might want to run these. If you're running Sendins, and you'll find your folders right in here. We have the inside, and then we have the outside. So, of course, the outside is the one I picked. I just right-clicked, copied it. Go back to the root of your bezel folder, and then just right-click and paste. And then just rename it. I already renamed mine right over. Right here is where I renamed it. I'm actually going to rename that just to make it clearer in my batch files. Crime Control dash Sendin. And then I'm just going to do a quick edit on my batch. Just an example. Let's see. Here is my bezel. Crime Patrol dash Sendin. And always make sure when you're setting your bezels up that you do add the .png at the end. It's looking for that specific file, not just the name. All right, I'm going to run it, and I should populate with that bezel. And you can use any bezel you want to. Okay, again, if you want a more in-depth video over the bezels and add anything else to the Singe, watch my previous video, and I go into that a lot. All right, so let's look into the fast draw zip ROM here. You will need to change your X ratio for this one to 2.37, and that's going to be with the border as well. I want to leave a file with the bezel for fast draw and for Marbella Vice. Those will be sending and non-sending bezel, so just use whatever you need. And for fast draw specifically, add X ratio 2.37. For any other game, that's going to be X ratio 1.33. And that's going to give you line of accuracy with your gun on these 4x3 games. So you don't need to change your gun to 4x3 mode. If you're sending, we don't need the inside bezels. We can just use the outside bezel, or the outside white border, I should say. And everyone, that is really it. Just a couple more notes. Just be sure to take off the pause on your batch files if you don't want to keep hitting another button to get out of the games. That pause is really good for testing, but once you get everything running and you're happy with it, go ahead and remove it, hit save, and then just close your file out. And if you have any problems running any games whatsoever, all of these basically come with instruction manuals. So you will find those in your Singe folder. Just pick the game you want. Gallagher not Gallagher, but any of them really. But Fast Draw, for example, this one that a lot of people's going to have issues with, especially when it comes to holstering. Right click it and go to the README file. This is basically your guide over the game. This just has a structure of the game. We're good with that. But the option menu tells you what you need to do, how to play it. And this is actually where I found. This is where I found the actual correct number to use for the X ratio. And it tells it down here. Use approximately 2.37. Here is the equation I use for that, etc. Okay, anyways, I'll have a link in the description that's going to have the two bezels. I will update that link later on. I'm going to have every bezel that I'm using for this. But for now, of the day of this recording, you're just going to have those two bezels, and that should get you up and running. Every other bezel should be found in your bezels folder that we set up in our very first video. If you want more information on how to do all the command argument lines and other things we can do, you can find that in the second video where we set up Action Max. Okay, anyways, I hope this has helped you all out. It was a lot to cover today, but I think we have everything set up light gun as well. Anyways, y'all have a great day. I'll catch you next time, and we'll do some more non-light gun games to get set up with our Hypseus Singe, and I'll see you then. Y'all have a great one.